Hello, this is the one with a new video review, and by a new review I mean a Revieuild. Yeah, get it? It's between a Rebuild and a review, because I'm going to be reviewing again in high definition the Revoltech number 100, the Evangelion Evolution, the Evangelion Test-Type Unit 01, manufactured by Kaiyodo on its line Revoltech and released back in January 2011, if I recall correctly. It was the first entry in the Evangelion Evolution series, and this series was made back when between Evangelion 2.0 and Evangelion Q, and I think that they were made specifically to counter all the mistakes that they made with the 2.0 mold, and also to make them more appealing when compared to the Robot Damashi series. So these figures have a complete new molding, a complete new sculpt, painting, articulations, and they actually are one of my favorites. They are not without their problems, but I'm going to go into more details again later. So these figures have this flip book cover, this flipping cover, like book-like cover, that actually, well, the figures is inside, and there is a lot of the work, a lot of the information that was normally placed on the back of the box is placed in here, such as the posing work, the contents, and some of the gimmicks are actually here. So yeah, I'm going to be reviewing these figures again because back then I didn't have an HD camera. Now I do, and I think I'm going to be a little bit more concise. So let's check this figure again. So here we have this bad boy out of the box. And well, one of the things that I liked the most about this figure is the amount of articulation that it has. It is not the most screen accurate of the Rebuild of Evangelion EVAs. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the least screen accurate of the EVAs. I've always said that the 2.0 mold, I believe, is the one that is the closest to the screen incarnations. We have that the well, I don't know you, but I feel that the torso is kind of elongated in order to have these articulations that they placed in there, and that the legs are kind of short for the EVA. Also, I tend to believe that the head of this EVA is kind of flat from top to bottom, but maybe that's just me. In every other aspect, it's a really cool figure, this EVA. And well, I'm going to start with the articulations again. We have an articulation here on the shoulder. Well, there is an articulation here, and the pylons for the first time are being held by these tiny Revoltech joints that are held in place in the shoulder of the EVA. How would these figures go out there? There you go. There you can see it. So this tiny peg there goes into this hole on the pylon, and like this. And there you go. It allows for some, oh damn it, well, I'm going to leave it like that. It allows for some motion there, but it's still dependent on the movements of the arm. So it's really not perfect. I think that the approach that they gave with Evangelion 13 were the best. But well, also I kind of think that the pylons are kind of short. I don't know you, I felt that they should be a little bit taller and wider. But anyways, so we have an articulation on the shoulder, one on the elbow, an articulation on the wrist with a very tiny Revoltech joint that I'm going to talk about later. There's articulation at the top of the neck, there's an articulation at the bottom of the neck, and you can actually see that there is a plate on top of the neck that disappears inside of the figure when the figure raises its head like this. It's actually kind of cool. And well, there's an articulation at the top of the chest, one articulation at the bottom of the torso, in the hip. There's an articulation that allows it to kick, that doesn't feel as flimsy as all the others. There is one Revoltech joint that allows the EVA to do this. There is a tiny peg inside here that disappears inside of the leg. that gives the impression that there is flesh underneath. There is an articulation on the knee, one articulation on the ankle, and there is an articulation on the toes, but hardly, because it's really hard. I really never been able to... Oh, there you go. A tiny articulation on the toes. But for some reason the feet of the Eva are really pointy, so it's kind of odd. But anyway, I think that this figure has a really good articulation, even when compared. It really puts the Revoltech on par with the raw Damashi figures. But anyways, now if there is something that I'd say summarizes the Evangelion Evolution series is gimmicks. Practically all of the figures come with a lot of interesting gimmicks. Some of them are kind of what, and some others are very interesting actually. But I'm going to go into those later. This Eva comes with the pallet gun, typical. It also comes with the progressive knife, the Rebuild of Evangelion kick-ass version of the progressive knife. It's actually very cool. And well, then we go into the actual gimmicks. The first one is an arm. Yes, the arm of one of the angels, because in the Rebuild of Evangelion series the Eva tears apart the angel, and what a better way to show the angel apart than showing it in a pool of blood. Yes, and it is supposed to be a base for this if you want to display it, and it actually comes with a LED light, like this. It's very interesting, and it's really cool also, because I'm going to be honest, I'm just waiting for when I have my own desk so that I can have one of these figures every week posing as they see me work. It also comes with a rib that you presumably just ripped out of said angel so that you can stab it, because it's as happens in the Rebuild of Evangelion movie. The Eva just rips the rib of the angel and stabs it with him. How hardcore can you get after that? And and there is another one. Let me see how it was. Yep, it's like this. There is a berserk head with this Eva. It actually has one eye missing because it's pierced through with the angel. So I'm going to put it here. You have to remove the regular head, like simply pulling it out. There is no extra joint, so you have to take out the tiny little joint here. You have to be careful with this, because once they get lost, well, I don't really want to go into details with that. But Revoltech doesn't make any spare joints anymore, as far as I know, and you don't want to risk losing this. So you put it into the base of the head and then just slide back, and there you go, Eva with an open mouth. And the last gimmick that comes with this figure is these sprays of blood. To put them on, how did this go? Let me see if I remember, if I recall correctly. Yes, it was like this. Yes, like this. There you go. I'm going to get a little bit closer so that you can see. And there you go. To put it in, all you have to do is insert it from the back. There is one side that has this flat part. All you have to do is put it on the back of the Eva and then pull it forward, like this, and forward. And it will hold in place on the back of the head of the Eva. And this, there is a tiny point there, right where the transparent part meets the red part, and that will hold in place with the eye of the Eva, so that you can put it like this. And there you go, Eva with a head mirage. If you have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Now, another gimmick that comes with this figure is the fact that the green parts of the paint are supposed to glow in the dark. I have really never tried that myself, because I'm not that idly. How do you say it when you are idle? Idleness? Well, I'm not that curious, but once the curiosity bit me, and it doesn't seem to glow that much. Quite honestly, I tried leaving it in the light and then putting it in the dark, but it didn't work. So I opened it in the dark, but it didn't glow much. Perhaps you have to load it. If you know, many glow in the dark paints actually have to be like loaded first. You put them in an illuminated place and they kind of absorb light and then they emit it when it's dark. I actually don't know how shiny the the green parts are, but it's kind of interesting. Now, one thing I really liked about the Evangelion Evolution series is the amount of tiny hands that come with them. I mean, each of the Evas has about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 hands. And they all come with repair. So we have open palms, fists, like grasping, gun holding hands, knife holding hands, and those that were the long with all the fingers together is for running, and the other one is, I don't know, but the pairs are on the figure right now. And well, it's one of the things I like the most about these figures. You could swap whatever weapon you wanted on whichever figure you wanted, because there were no specific hands on any Eva. Perhaps on Eva Unit 0 because it had the hands for holding missile, but besides that, it's really cool, actually. Also, this figure comes with its umbilical cord, like all Evangelion figures. It comes with a tiny rubber container, a box so that you can put the hands in, and actually the box has its own place inside of the blister, so it doesn't go anywhere else. And a Revoltech chip, it's worth 10 points, and I think the promotion is now over. No, it's not promotion. How do you call them? The promo is, I don't know, but these things were never worth anything in this side of the world because you had to gather like 100 points and you could receive a figure or something, and well, if you were not in Japan, these were completely worthless. So now I have a bunch of those. And also this figure comes with its Revoltech stand, the transparent one. It comes with the base, the J-shaped shaft and joint, white in white, and where's the other thing? Here it is. And a B-shaped shaft and another joint in here. Now, before I end this review, there is something that I wanted to show you, because it was asked in one of my videos a few days ago and it kept bugging me because I couldn't remember the answer. So, you see, with the Evangelion Evolution Unit 3, there came another gimmick that is for Evangelion Unit 1, which is this smashing ground scenery, so that you can put the head of your Unit 1, or that you could simply pull this thing out and like this, and put Evangelion Unit 1 there and Evangelion Unit 3 choking it. And the thing is that along with this came another head for Evangelion Unit 1, which is this one. Now, this unit, what it does is actually it opens its mouth. You can see it here with its mouth closed and the yellow eyes, but you can actually pull it this way and it will have both its mouth open and the eyes colored red. It's a very interesting gimmick because it's the only Eva figure that opens its mouth this good. The Evangelion 2.0 mold didn't do it as good. But also with Evangelion Unit 3 comes the entry plug in which Asuka is inside of the movie. So they were asking me because you can actually place the entry plug inside of the mouth of the Eva and have it being held there. So I'm going to show you again how it is done because I just figured it out myself again. So you have to take out the head and the neck of the Eva and pull out the tiny joint for the neck. Come on here. Okay, you pull out the head and then you insert the Berserk dummy plug head like this. And this head doesn't have the articulation on the head because the joint wouldn't allow it. So once you have it, all you have to do is position the entry block like this. You can see that it is bent, so the sides are like not like this, not pointing upwards, but like this, and that the part that is yellow and gray is supposed to point to the right of the EVA like this. And you can see that there are actually little indentations inside on this side. So you put it on the head like this, and then you close the jaw of the EVA like so, slowly, and it's supposed to stop. The head is going to hold the entry block in place just about halfway into the oh, come on, I just did it, come on. Okay, it takes a while, but it actually works. Let me see, I can do it again. Okay, there you go. So the so that the EVA can hold the entry block properly, it has to be on the red eyes, and then with the sides of the entry block pointing downwards, and the side that is both gray and yellow on the right side of the EVA, then you simply have to follow the indentations and push it inward, and there you go, the EVA with the entry block inside. So I hope that this answers the question, and if not, well, we're going to have to do it again. But here you can see clearly how it looks once inside. It's kind of a cool and a very sad gimmick, but anyways. So, final verdict on this figure. Well, it's obviously going to be compared with the Evangelion 2.0 mold and the newer Evangelion Q figures. And the thing is that there was a clear improvement on those years. When compared to the differences between the Neon Genesis Evangelion set and the 2.0 mold, we see that there was a lot of evolution on the figures back then. It fixed a lot of the issues while creating a new ones. It departed substantially from screen accuracy in order to accommodate for the joints. And whilst the robot Damashi approach is a valid one, in which they kept the figures as close as possible to the screen incarnation, I think that they also made some mistakes when it comes to the, how do you call it, not the proportions, but the way the figures look. When you see a robot Damashi, there are some details about it that immediately cuts your attention, and they seem kind of off in an otherwise perfect figure. And the thing is that on this Revoltech, whilst you obviously know that the figures somehow seem to be are not exactly as on the screen, they seem to be well done on themselves. And if you didn't know about Evangelion and you didn't know how the figures look on screen, then you would say that it is a very good figure. Now, as I said, there are some problems with the proportions of the legs and of the torso and whatnot. But besides that, I think that these figures, all the Evangelion Evolution line, really did Revoltech a favor, because it really kicked up how they were doing things up until then. We start to see that they add different materials in the same figure. For example, the green and purple segments on the torso are actually made of rubber. And that was an innovation that wasn't present up until that point. We start to see that they start making joints to the size of the figure and not the other way around. So that even though the hands on the EVAs still have Revoltech joints, they are very tiny, the size of the wrist, and they look cool. And it's one of the things that I dislike a lot about the Neon Genesis Evangelion figures, that they made the joints to one size and they tried to upscale the figure to that size, and that was just plain wrong. So I think that, yes, I think that the Evangelion Evolution series is a really cool one. They have been released. This figure especially has been released a lot of times since it was originally put on sale. I think it has been released like 3 or 4 times. At least once a year it appears again. There is also another version that is full of logos. There is one that is completely clear. There is one that is metallic purple that comes with Mark 6. I don't own any of those. I really don't think I'm going to purchase those, so you're going to have to look for a review of those somewhere else. Perhaps later will. But for the time being, I think that this is one of my favorite EVA Unit 1s. I'm not a fan of EVA Unit 1 per se, I like more Evangelion Unit 2 or 3 or 4. Even Unit 0 I like it more than Unit 1. But this is definitely one of my favorite Unit 1s. So, well, this was Hello 1 with a new video review. The Revoltech number 100, the Evangelion Evolution, Evangelion Test-Type Unit 01 from Evangelion 2.0 You Cannot Advance, manufactured by Kaiyodo on its line Revoltech and sculpted by Katsuhisa Yamaguchi. So if you have any questions, like the one I solved a few minutes ago in the video, just leave it below. I'm going to try to answer, and if not, if I don't remember, I'm going to look for the answer, because I really don't like to end up with the doubt myself. So thanks for watching.